There's a heavy price to pay for attempting to steal votes, defaming election workers, and storming the US Capitol to obstruct a democratic transfer of presidential power. And accountability is drawing closer for Donald Trump and his associates. The US judicial system is intensifying its efforts to hold the former president, his loyalists, and supporters accountable for their actions in trying to undermine the 2020 election. In doing so, it has become a crucial pillar in safeguarding the nation's still vulnerable democracy. Just in a single day this week, 2 members of the far-right Proud Boys group received substantial sentences despite their pleas for leniency. They were convicted of seditious conspiracy for their roles in the January 6, 2021 mob attack on Congress. Judge Timothy Kelly emphasized the gravity of the constitutional crisis that unfolded that day, stating, "The nature of the constitutional moment we were in that day is something that is so sensitive that it deserves a significant sentence. This highlights the criminal justice system's commitment to addressing an unprecedented assault on American democracy." In another case this week, former Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani lost a defamation lawsuit filed by 2 Georgia election workers whom he and Trump had targeted. This lawsuit serves as a reminder of the profound consequences of baseless claims made by powerful figures. Trump himself has entered a not guilty plea in a large racketeering case in Georgia, where he faces charges related to his attempts to overturn President Joe Biden's victory in the state. His former White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, is also awaiting a crucial decision on whether his case will be moved to federal court. Trump denies wrongdoing in all 4 cases awaiting trial. But these legal challenges have thrust the justice system into the heart of the upcoming presidential campaign. Charging a former president and leading Republican candidate with criminal offenses in the midst of an election season raises valid questions about the potential risks. Legal experts hold differing opinions on the validity and timing of these cases. Nevertheless, a democracy must respond to alleged crimes committed by its leaders. Trump's continued attacks on judges, prosecutors, and opponents, which have forced many of them to enhance their security measures, underscore his ongoing threat to us institutions. The recent headlines surrounding Trump's arrest and his claims of being unfairly targeted have somewhat obscured the core allegations against him and his associates. At its core, these cases revolve around a president and his loyalists attempting to misuse their power to overturn an election. This involved smearing election workers, who are the foundation of democratic governance, and resorting to violence when legal and political avenues failed. The sentencing of 2 prominent Proud Boys members for seditious conspiracy is another success for the Justice Department, which has pursued hundreds of cases related to the Capitol attack. It sends a powerful message that threatening the peaceful transfer of power carries consequences. While Trump supporters argue that these cases constitute a witch hunt, the legal process continues steadily. The lengthy legal proceedings have placed the justice system squarely in the midst of the next presidential campaign, prompting claims that Trump is the true victim of election interference. For instance, a federal judge set a trial date of March 4 in Trump's federal election subversion case, just before Super Tuesday primaries. The potential consequences, including jail time for Trump if convicted, are why charging a former president in an election season is fraught with risk. It raises concerns about the Republican Party potentially nominating a convicted felon for president, which could trigger a constitutional crisis. Meanwhile, Trump and conservative media have convinced millions that he did nothing wrong in the last election. Convictions in these cases could bolster his argument that American justice is corrupt. Ultimately, the judicial system's efforts are essential to address alleged crimes and safeguard democracy. Recent weeks have seen dramatic developments, but they should not overshadow the core issues at stake: the misuse of power to overturn an election and the consequences for those involved. The Justice Department's success in these cases demonstrates that those who threaten the peaceful transfer of power will be held accountable. It serves as a warning to future presidential candidates and ensures that the foundation of American democracy remains secure. As for the 2 Georgia election workers who were wrongly attacked, their ordeal illustrates the human toll of Trump's bid to retain power. Their lives were disrupted and their sense of security shattered by false claims. Such attacks on election workers could discourage future public service, which is vital for democracy. In conclusion, the pursuit of justice is a necessary step to protect American democracy. It's a reminder that no one, regardless of their position or power, is above the law. The coming months will determine whether Trump faces the consequences of his actions.